What's going on, James?
Hello, hello.
Yep, can hear you. Awesome. Great, man. Thank you so much for hopping on. I had to
Yeah.
go live already because with StreamYard, if I don't go live within 9 minutes, it kicks me out of Facebook.
All right, cool.
Hey, man, thank you so much for hopping on. We get immediately started, man, because I have a couple of questions that I want before you gotta go again. So, first question, man. What was your keys to building your successful business while making sure that you stayed connected with your loved ones?
That's a good question. So, by the way, we're live right now.
Yep, we are.
Awesome. What's up, everybody? Sorry I was late, but really good question. So, um, I think the biggest thing, or one thing that I really believe in personally, is I believe in like living what I call like an integrated lifestyle, and
Mm-hmm.
so I kind of believe that like my personal life, my family life, my spiritual life, like all those kind of things are basically one integrated. In fact, if you really look at like how mankind or humans were originally, like more primitive days, is it's actually very normal for humans to be that way. So like they anyway, so like so much of how we grow up now in modern society, and things have changed, but it's like everything is so compartmentalized. Even like I sit down for X amount of hours, then I go work out for X amount of hours, or minutes or whatever it is. Then I spend X amount of time with my kids, and I like I try to. Or then like on Sunday people go and do their spiritual thing, or they whatever go walk in the park or whatever it is. Like I just try to like live a more integrated life. So like, now not everything can be integrated. Like I can't just have my kids rush in here and like take over the room, but I do try to, let them see and experience things that I'm doing in my normal life, so that, I think that's like true parenting, mentoring, and all those kind of things is like, they see, they hear, they learn, and we experience things on the fly. Actually, like a really hot thing with so like I'm kind of like back and forth on like homeschooling and all this stuff, but like so like but a very interesting thing with homeschooling is there's this thing now that's super popular around, like it's actually called something, I don't know what it is, but it's like you teach, it's actually really big. I've heard like Ty Lopez, a lot of people talk about this, where like you teach your kids as they go along in life. So like if you took them to the park, this is a great time to teach them photosynthesis, why leaves grow, what air is, what carbon dioxide is, even to spiritual things like what you believe, whatever your personal belief is, like did God create this? Did whatever you want to say create this? But you teach them like your beliefs, now like, also giving them the freedom to think on their own and, improve on your own beliefs and stuff like that. But like, but so like anyway, I just, in a nutshell, I really have noticed how well that has done in our family, and like I actually so this is probably like a self brag, or kind of sounds like it, but like it's super common that I take my kids places and people are like, man, I never seen 3 kids sit still like that. Like never seen this before. I was just with hanging out with one of my good buddies here in Dallas, Akbar, and like, like he kept telling me that he's like, dude, I never seen like 3 kids like playing in his house, doing all this stuff. But like I'd say, hey guys, come over here and sit down, and they all like come over and sit down in a row. I say, hey, everyone hold hands. They hold hands. Like, but I think a big reason that they do that is because like they're used to, like I've kind of like, I don't know if this is going to sound wrong or whatever, but I've kind of trained them in that way, that like they're used to being around me. They feel like they don't have to like impress me or whatever. And also like I think they learn a lot when they're around me too. So it's like, it's funny how like my 5-year-old and my 7-year-old, I've never told them my phone number ever, but they've heard me say my phone number so many times that they know my phone number. So like we'll be at like a Walgreens or at like a grocery store, and they're like, hey, what's your club card number? And I'm like 714, and then they know the number. They're like, no. I'm like, how do you guys know the number? And it's just because they've heard me say it so many times, you know. So anyway, that's kind of what I do. You know, like anybody, I'm not perfect at it, but I really try hard to live that integrated life. I mean, like we eat together. You know, like it's traditional probably like in America to like eat at a dining room table, but like, you know, I'm believe it or not, like I'm actually a single dad. So like I pretty much eat like anywhere. Like I'll eat, you know, somewhere in the house, somewhere on the floor, at the bar, like at the bar in the kitchen, like I'll eat in the kitchen. So like if I'm going to eat, the kids want to eat there too. And they think it's so fun. They pull up their chairs. They're like standing on chairs, like eating. They think it's so cool. Like, and we're all like eating somewhere together, or like we'll go, like we have 2 fireplaces downstairs. And like, so we'll go, but one of them we like burn wood on. And so like, we'll start a fire and then we'll like eat right there. And, you know, I'll teach them about like, you know, like, just simple things like, do you know why the fire goes up instead of out? You know, do you realize like what this vent does here? And, you know, like when I load the firewood, I'll say, hey, Troy, can you grab wood and bring it to me? You know, and so like, it's one integrated experience. Now, like a lot of parents who do this, they're probably like, well, dude, that's a way to get things messy. They're going to get cuts, like splinters, whatever. And that is true. Like you're going to have more, like a little bit more stuff to clean up or whatever, but also you can teach your kids to clean up, you know, like, hey guys, let's all pick up like all the big stuff on the ground right now. Like everyone, like, so they're literally just like, and then like, I'll teach them like to put it like in a bowl or something so they can like put it all together, you know, and then take that and dump it. And so it's just yeah, like I was out, me and Akbar were with our kids at a restaurant, and like Penny, my 7-year-old, was taking the boys to the bathroom one at a time, and they knew how to do it. Like they go to the women's bathroom, generally it's cleaner, and she knows how to take them to the bathroom, you know, and so yeah, I mean, we just try to like live a life like that where like everything's kind of together. It works really, really well. So I have learned it from like reading and listening to other people talk about it, and just kind of like did it my own way. But a really interesting thing is like kids nowadays generally don't grow up fearing, like they don't really like have anything that challenges them. They don't have any fear because they're so insulated a lot. And a lot of times their fears are just deep internal emotional, but they don't have anything that they fear that they have to overcome. They're not used to being injured. And I'm not saying like a broken arm, I'm saying like a splinter, a cut on the knee, whatever. And so when that happens with my kids, a lot of times, like we were somewhere and one of my kids like was running and he just fell. And I think we were in the arcade, and my smallest boy, Reese, who's always my second smallest boy, is 3. He just fell flat on his face. And like these 2 moms were looking at me like, pick him up, you know? And I'm like, Reese, get up, man, come on. And so he got up and he like had this little like white mark on his knee. He's like, Daddy. And I'm like, Reese, that's what happens sometimes when we run, like we get little scrapes. I was like, why don't we, I was like, if you want, we can go to the table, I can look at it. Or you can go run around and play with your brothers. And, you know, like if it's hurting later, we can look at it. And he just got up and ran off, you know? And so, but I'm teaching him like, so his parents looked at me like, what a jerk. Like he didn't even teach his kid, but they don't understand. Like this is why my kids are really, really attentive. They listen, like I teach them like, hey, just because you're hurt doesn't mean the world's falling in, your world's falling in, or that, you know, you need to like, now like sometimes like you just can't help it. Like you're just going to love them, hug them, all that stuff. I'm not anti that at all. I'm not one of those dads that's like, so it's funny. I live in Texas. So like people are probably like, oh, he's probably one of those dads that like his kid's bleeding and he's just like, throw some dirt on it. No, I'm not like that. Okay. But yeah, like I sometimes when we go to the park, if I see like a really big branch on the ground, like there's like a 30-foot branch on the ground one time, and I had my kids like drag it, and they thought it was so fun and so cool. And I videotaped it, and they were like working together, and like Penny, the older one's like telling them what to do. Hey, you go over there, you go over here, and they're dragging it, but they're getting like cut a little bit on their leg, you know? So all of them had like really teeny little scrapes, no blood, but they had little scrapes and stuff. And so they came over, and I was like, okay, like everyone like look at each other's cuts, make sure no one's bleeding, you know? And they're like, yeah. They're like, we're okay, Daddy. We're ready to play, you know? And like, of course, like when they come home, I'm going to take care of them, make sure they're not like their cuts are like clean with Band-Aids, all that stuff, Neosporin, whatever. But I teach them like, it's okay to have a challenge. It's okay to be in pain. You can actually still go have fun and do something, or you can overcome it, or you guys can overcome it together. You know, you guys can help each other work on stuff together. You know, like, so anyway, like I've taught them how to carry each other. So like even the little one can carry the 7-year-old, like by putting his arms around and locking like this.
Nice.
Like back up and carry him, you know? So anyway, it's just like a lot of little stuff like that, like that we do that, like when I say integrated, it's all that stuff, but it's also like integrated with nature, integrated with like, you know, all that stuff, like, you know, so anyway, that's how I do it.
Love it, man. Absolutely love it. Whew. My brain's boom. So many questions from this. And man, I absolutely love it. Yeah, and you're right. It's one of the things that annoys me so much when I'm in the playground is all the parents or grandparents for that matter, like, oh, don't do this, don't do that. And my kids walking on top of it, right? And they're all looking like, you're not gonna see. Oh, like, dude, well, you know, let him experience. He knows he can fall. He knows. I don't have to tell him that.
Yeah.
He's not stupid.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, man, I love that. I love that you shared that.
And like our kids are going to go through challenges that are just different than when we were young. And so like kids knowing how to solve their own problems, like also knowing that they can always go to you, knowing you're always there, knowing that you're their backstop, that, you know, but also just like how do I get through a challenging situation? You know, if I'm afraid to do something, what do I do? You know, like I've like the arcade we go to, it has like a rock climbing thing where you harness up and you're on a rope. And so like they didn't want to do it, but I taught them like, just go up one, you know, and just like, you're basically like this far off the ground, right? Like I taught them like, just do that. And then now they'll go up like 6 to 10 feet without even thinking about it, you know, but, and you know, like I'm assuming if they like it and they want to, they'll just continue to go up higher and higher and challenge themselves. But I try to like when they say like, so it's funny because like, you know, like I never planned it this way, but like I, you know, because I'm in a single parenting situation, my ex-wife, she does it very different. So so like it's an interesting thing to kind of work on, you know, and kind of communicate with her like, hey, this is how I do it, like, you know, and see if she wants to do some of that. But like, because I think she's much more of just like, you know, oh, you know, something's wrong, I'll pick you up, I'll carry you. So like when the kids come to be with me for like 10 days or something, like they're just with me for 12 days, the first day they want me to carry them everywhere.
Yeah.
Like and I'm like, why do you want me to carry you? And they're like, well, mommy carries us. And I'm like, I'm definitely not carrying you everywhere. Like, you guys have 2 legs just like everyone else, you know?
Exactly.
And so, yeah, it's just different, you know? And it's also like probably a difference between like, you know, moms and dads, right? Like one's nurture, one's different, right? So, but yeah, you know, that's how I do it, man. So
love it. And
the only other really, really big thing, if anybody wants a parenting tip, is so I just know, because I've been in technology a long time, was a part of the first like BlackBerry launch, sold the first 100-unit BlackBerry deal ever, like, and I've seen a lot of data on devices, screens, and screen time for kids. And I can just tell you, if you're letting your kids watch more than like an hour a day of screens, maybe 2 hours maximum of all screens, TV, tablets, phones, whatever, you're only programming your kid to be more restless because the screen is flashing every 3 to 6 seconds, something new.
Mm-hmm.
And the brain is developing in a young child, getting used to that. And that is exactly why they won't settle down is, they just can't sit like, and I personally at 39, I struggle with that. Like I struggle with like, I'm on the screen so much, right? Like on the device or whatever. We use it completely for business. Like I don't just get on there and socialize, but even at that, like I notice like if I sit down, like it's very difficult to sit for 5 minutes and just sit there or just stand in line and wait to be, it's like, I got to look at something. Right. And so like, there's things that I personally do, like meditation in the morning, or sometimes I just challenge myself. Like I'm in line. I know this is going to be an 8-minute wait. And I'm just like, I'm not going to look at my device. I'm going to look at, I'll read the back of a bag of chips before I'm going to look at my device. I'll pick up a magazine off the stand, like whatever. But like you're programming your mind to be more calm. And the same is true for your kids, like amplified in your kids because their brain is growing. Mm-hmm. And so this is a massive reason why they physically cannot sit still is because their brain is used to something switching every few seconds. And that's why they can only sit for a few seconds,
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly. Yeah, that's a great tip. Absolutely. And I think all parents are struggling a little bit with it because it's like, okay, I want to, not have them watch TV, but at the same time, I need to do some stuff and I need them just to be, and the easiest thing to do then is just, okay, let them just watch a movie. Like I got to clean the house, for example, right? That's our biggest struggle.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you sharing that. Yeah, that's great advice.
Yeah. So I do that sometimes. Like I'll, like if I know I'm going to do this and I'm going to be on here for an hour, what I'll try to do is pack in this and some other screen time in the next hour and a half, 2 hours. And then I'll put on like Avengers or something for them. But then I tell them, hey, when this is over, do not come rush in the room. You guys play with your toys or whatever. Mm. But yeah, like when I need to like entertain them, it's good to have it. But man, you really want to try to limit their time to a few hours a day if you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We have a rule at our house: Monday to Thursday, no TV. That's
great.
So, and they know that.
Really good.
Right? But the thing is, on Monday, they're already starting like, yay, on Friday, we can watch TV again. I'm like, oh, that's not what I wanted. Not.
Yeah.
Anyway, man, usually I ask one question and then I'll give you an opportunity to introduce yourself. But time goes really fast and you're just keep going with nuggets and nuggets and nuggets. I want to ask you a question. So if you don't mind, let's do that a little bit at the end. And then you also share with us where people can find you. And as I told you, I got the website shared, so we'll share that as well. So one of the struggles, you mentioned it, and I think your struggle is even bigger, right? It's not just you. It's not just us dads raising our kids. It's, you do it together, right? And that brings a struggle because each party has a different view of how that things go. Now, for me, I assume it's a little easier because she's right here. We'll talk, we'll communicate. We love each other most of the time, right?
Yeah.
For you, that's completely different, right?
Yeah.
So how do you make sure, and it might be a two-way question. So how do you make sure that, you're aligned? And two, how do you deal with if you're not, right? Make sure that, it still goes smoothly because in the end, you give the kids, right?
Yeah. So like, so it's interesting. Like, so the details. So I've been studying a lot about divorce just because like, number one, I didn't expect it to happen to me. I didn't file the divorce. And also I don't want to have another one. I can tell you that. So I'm just trying to understand it. So like, so one interesting thing that like just recently happened in the last 24 hours is I bought my 7-year-old a smartwatch. And actually I had a smartwatch and I wasn't using it. And so I gave it to her. And so, so I locked it down, put all this protection on it so she can only call and text me, another family member. And I even told her mom, I said, hey, if you want, we should program your phone number on here. So if Penny wants to text you, when she's at my house or call you, she can call you or text you. I also have, so over here on this other desk, I have a Facebook portal that is like it looks like a picture frame, but it's kind of like FaceTime, but like through Facebook thing. And so I bought one for my ex-wife's house and one for my house. And so the kids can talk back and forth, and just like have a big display to talk on and stuff. It's actually really cool. I will tell you, for $100 or whatever it is, the coolest thing. Cause like there's all these like, bedtime stories and stuff. So you can like literally like flip the pages, read to them while you're remote. You can play games with them on there where they're interacting, you're interacting. So it's really cool. But yeah, there's conflict, right? Like, and so like my ex-wife, she was like, well, I don't want the watch in the house or something like that. And I was like, okay, I got this watch, number one, because for safety. And there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in public schools. Like, she should be able to hit like an SOS thing on the phone or on the watch and let me know. And the other thing is like, she just to be able to like text and send voice notes over text and stuff like that is really cool for the kids. But just for whatever reason, seemingly to me, and this is my side, is like, there's no reason for that, right? but she's just like, she's too young. So it's different values, right? Like, no right or wrong, it's just different values. And so at the end of the day, when the parents are not living together, it's like you can only control what you can control, which is going to be when you have like custody, right? Like, and then the other time you like one thing I actually hired the top lawyer in the state. It was actually Deion Sanders, like Tony Romo's lawyer. And so, but he's a super ethical guy, but I just needed protection, needed to make sure I had custody and stuff like that and access to my kids, which we got. So, but like one thing he told me in the very beginning, okay, he's like, look, I know you're not happy about this. I know like this wasn't, you don't want this, but the reality here is you have young children who, you're going to be friends with your ex for 15 to 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when he told me that, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm just telling you, man. He goes, and if you're not, he goes, the reality is like Texas is going to be super balanced in terms of like what they give you and her. But like if there's a problem long term, they're going to favor her.
Oh, wow.
And so he's like, it is not to your advantage to cause strife. So I've just learned that, like, like I don't want to argue or whatever, or talk bad about her. Or like, I just don't even do that. In fact, I have a couple of friends. This is actually sad. Like church friends who you think like, okay, like church people should be like at least more graceful or whatever. Sometimes they're like the worst, they're going to gossip the worst. I'm like, are you serious? Like, but like I've had church friends who like, they want to gossip about her. And I specifically like get myself out of that situation. Number one, it's just not healthy. Number two, it only drags you down. Number three, in terms of business, that's like a really good way to like, never maximize your income, is like to just talk negatively and stuff like that. But also it doesn't help the relationship. It doesn't help the way I'm going to think about it. It doesn't help custody. It doesn't help anything, And so, but it's really easy to like try to feed my hurt or pain or whatever it is and do that. But I just try to stay out of those conversations. So, and it's easy if you just don't hang out with those people, don't answer the phone or whatever. But yeah, so, I mean, it is a struggle, like, but the best thing I can encourage people to do if you're in a separated relationship, this is super, super sad, but like, this is like 50% of people. Okay. Like, yeah. So if you're not, please try to stay married. But if you are, if you are the best thing you can do is try to be a grown-up and just, like for the sake of your kids, just try to take the high ground and like, because here's the thing, when the kids get older, they can choose where they want to live. They can make those decisions when so it depends on the state, but 8, 9, 10, 11 is super common age. So even like my oldest daughter, Penny, like it would be like, she's already told me in a year or two, she wants to move in with me. And that would be super easy to go to the court and say, hey, like she's of age. This makes a lot of sense. She wants to, and like, if you're playing it right with the other parent, usually the other parent will come along over time and be like, hey, if she wants to live with you, that's fine. As long as I get my time with her, that's fine. So, yeah, I mean, it's, yeah. So anyway, it's an interesting dynamic that changes every day, but you can survive and do super well, and like we've kept our business intact. In fact, we've just continued to grow our business. Just the key, I think, if anybody goes through it, is like trying to be in the right headspace, because especially as a guy, like it can really come down hard in terms of like failure and just like all these things. And, it's things that you never really think about. But also like you have to know that like your best days can still be ahead of you. You can choose that, and so, yeah.
Wow. Nice, man. I hope people picked up on that, because you gave a couple of nuggets there that are not even just for the situation where you shared, right? You just talked about environment, right? Making sure that if you have negative people around you, just get out of there, right? And that's just not for what you're saying. That's just in general.
Yeah.
So that alone is just great advice for anybody out there. All right, I appreciate that. Man, we come to the end. So James, I'd like to thank you so much for being on, taking the time. I know you're really busy. And I'm going to share this for the people that want to get in contact with you. Share with us as well, where can people get you besides your website? How can people get in contact with you, see all your content? Because, well, I see you everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, so we're super active on Facebook. It's like the main place we're at. You can PM me there, just friend request me. I always have open friends. It's a part of the system that we run. We always, we're never maxed out at 5,000, so we always stay in that range.
Mm-hmm.
We actually have a process where we remove people who are like 8 years, 9 years, 7 years old. Believe it or not, I was marketing on Facebook like 10 years ago. So like I started in 2009. So I think I actually started my account in 2008, but started marketing on it in 2009. But yeah, I mean, so Facebook is always a good place. You can get a hold of me there or whatever. I try to be super responsive. I get about 200, maybe sometimes 250 PMs a day, but I personally try to read all of them. So it's something that we do in my workload where like I'm freed up in some other areas, so that I personally try to read all of those. So and then I might direct you somewhere or whatever, but yeah. So like I've had people from anything from a lot of people throughout the year will ask for some of my time, want to meet up, want to come to a meeting, want to be part of a program we have or whatever. But we read them all and try to respond to everything. So yeah, I mean, that would be a good place. I just want to let you know too, I don't know if you do, but if you want to ask another question or two, I have a few more minutes. So.
Oh, for real? Yeah, that'd actually be awesome. So because I have tons of questions. So you were mentioning, right, you got to be in the right headspace. So what's your daily strategy to make sure that you work on that to stay in the right headspace? Because I think that's a big one. And
that's a good question. That is I'm glad you asked that. That's a good question. So I've learned a lot about this over years and trialing a lot of stuff, but where I'm at right now, where I've settled in right now is number one, I have to have the right energy. So like, so like for me, it's like, maybe this is my body chemistry or biology or whatever, but like I'm always like experimenting on things, but I'm in a really cool routine now in the morning where like, I get up, I drink this like green juice. It actually doesn't taste that good, especially if you don't like greens. But it's number one, it's super healthy. This is so funny. My little girl just texted me right now. She texted me an emoji.
That's awesome.
So
I was actually going to tell you, like, look, if your kids are going to come in, this is the one show that's absolutely allowed. Like my kids come in all the time. That the fact that they're asleep right now, so they can't.
So like like early in the beginning of your day, starting off with the proper like giving your body a chance to have good energy is really helpful. So like for me, it's this green drink. It's actually called Daily Greens. I think you could actually search for it, but I buy it at Sprouts. It's just like 10 or 12 ounces. And I pretty much just chug it. Like it doesn't taste like, after doing it for like 6 months, it tastes okay now. Honestly, like it tastes okay. Like but when I first started it, I was like, oh, sweet, like celery, kale, spinach. Like I'm reading this label, I'm like, this is horrible. Like, so, um, but now it's fine. So I do that. I also noticed that gives me a significant amount of energy right away. Like just putting that good stuff in your body. It's 100% natural, not from any concentrates or anything, like super good. So that, then personally, I drink a cup of coffee. And then a lot of times I'll take Keto OS. It's a supplement that I got from like Russell Brunson, Steve Larson, people like that. But it's a really good supplement, not for like the ketogenic diet per se, but it gets your body so that your body starts burning fat. And so people will say they'll sell it. It's like, oh, this is a weight loss thing, but it's not really. I mean, I'm sure somebody loses weight on it, but it's like your body burning fat is the best energy for your brain. Burning fat. So your body can burn sugar, carbs, or fat. And fat is like, it'd be like, throwing paper on a fire is like sugar. Like throwing like a book on a fire would be like carbs, and then throwing like logs would be like fat, burning fat. It's like, it's going to last longer. Probably not, like a little bit harder to start, right? Like paper will just go up like that, like, but it's gone. That's sugar, right? Like, and kind of carbs too. But when your body, it puts your body in this like it puts your body in this biological state where like your body starts burning fat. So for energy, so that really can kick your energy up for like 5-6 hours, which is crazy. Like to have a drink that will do that is like I will tell you, I thought at 30, 31, I had like low T, all these things, like, and I started searching for like all these supplements and stuff. And then I got onto this, so number one, that's just like an indication that your diet's off too. So I'm trying to work on that side of it too, so I'm not on the supplement forever. But the key, okay, is like while I'm working on that piece, I have to be in the right mental state. And so being alert, being able to think clearly, all that stuff makes a huge difference. And then how that parlays into kids and being a father is you have to be able to make good decisions. You know what I mean? You have to be able to keep your cool. Like kids are like, I'm talking about this like it's all easy. I'm telling you, like half the time, I'm looking for a way to like, put them in a closet. I'm like, can I lock them in here and not go to jail? No, I would never do that. But it's like you go crazy, right? Like, or like, you're feeding 3 kids is incredibly hard. I give mass respect for parents who know how to do that, because it's like every time you go to take a bite of your own food, it's like, Daddy, can I have a napkin? Sure. Daddy, can you fill my juice? Sure. Daddy, can I have some more of this? Sure. Oh, Daddy, I just spilled my food all over the ground. Oh, sweet. So the next 10 minutes, I'm going to be cleaning up your food. It's like, so it's difficult and it's frustrating. But when you're in the right mental state, it helps a lot. It sucks when you're tired, when your brain's dead. That's when you tend to just go off, The other thing is, like, there can be things that happen that are stressful. You'll lose a deal, something like that. And those are times when I try to tell the kids to like go do something on their own for a second. Let me figure out like how to deal with this, kind of cool down, and then move forward. So like something that just recently happened. It's funny. I was talking with my best friend, Steve Larson, the other day. And so we are actually doing a pre-funnel hacking live conference. So he was at mine last year, and we had it at this place called the Inn at Opryland. Well, this year he's having an event there, and he booked my room. Well, I thought I'd booked the same room because we did the paperwork, but apparently the person on our team, this guy, I don't want to say it's his fault or whatever, but we did not go to the credit card link and pay, but we did sign the contract. So we assumed we were in. Well, Steve's team did the whole thing, so they got it. So we just found out like 2 days ago, we don't have the room. We were like, what? We're like, how do we not have the room? We're like, we had it last year. We told you last year we wanted it. We signed the deal. And then I was like, I think Steve has the room. So I called him. I'm like, dude, do you have this room? He's like, yeah. And I was like, so anyway, it was an incredibly frustrating moment because I'm like, okay, number one, should I cancel my event? Should I, like, all these things start happening, right? I'm like, oh my God, I know a lot of students of mine and people have already booked hotel rooms there. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, okay, should I just tell them I'm not going to have an event, tell them to go to Steve's or whatever? But so, like, it was so frustrating. Then the kids are like going crazy. Right at the same time, I'm trying to deal with all this. I'm texting people. I'm like, this is insane. And so I was like, guys. And then so, like, what I do is I make it funny. Okay. So, like, I'm frustrated, right? But I'm like, guys, I'm like, I'm gonna karate chop you. And they all go, they all run out, thinking I'm like gonna tickle them or whatever. But then, like, that gets them out of the room, right? It's like so, like, I wanted to scream, right? I was literally like wanted to scream. It was intense. So I just made it fun, right? And, like, they all go running out. And then when they tried to come back in, I was like, guys, stay out for a second, okay? I was like, I need to just work for a second. Please stay out, play with your toys. I will be out there in a second. And so I try to, like, distance myself, right? Like, because, like, I don't know what people believe, but, like, bad energy can feed bad energy, whether you're just believe in universe stuff, plants, or Tai Chi or religion. Like, it's pretty much in there. Like, bad energy can feed more bad energy. And so, like, so I just try to, like, not be in that kind of, like, really down state when I'm around them.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't help it. It's just life, right? Sometimes you just can't help it. You need to make do. You might need to apologize to your kids, explain to them, or tell them like that, just, like, do something cool for them afterwards. If you've, like, when I've done something wrong, like, yelled at them or everyone sit down, like, I'm not gonna lie, man. Sometimes I'm just like, it gets so crazy, right? I'm like, sit down or I'm gonna eat your food. Like, I'll say something like that makes them laugh, but so it's like I can yell, but at the same time they're gonna laugh, right? Yeah. They're not gonna take it the wrong way. So anyway, that's kind of my little how to deal with your stress hack.
I appreciate it. And Mike even shared this. So that was in regards to your previous message, dealing with the other partner and raising kids together. So that's pretty cool. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate your message. Man, that was absolutely amazing. I absolutely love it. Have you ever heard what the reason is why Steve Larson started his boom?
No.
It was because of his kids. Because his kids were louder than him while he was going live. So he started.
Oh, shoot. Are you serious?
That's what he told me when I had him on the show.
I can totally see that. Yeah.
That's so cool. So it's the same like what you do, right? To try and use something that happens and then turn it around so it's still, beneficial for everybody instead of not. So I love that.
It's like sometimes I honestly need to scream. Like, it's like I move so fast. Things are so intense. Like, sometimes I just need to, like, be like, and then I'm good. And maybe it's my personality or whatever. So, so, like, it's like I've learned to do that as a joke to them, and they think it's hilarious, right? But at the same time, it allowed me to have my moment too. Exactly.
Yeah, but that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. I love it, man. Again, James, thank you so much for being on. I really appreciate it. For everybody watching and enjoying this, we're gonna cut this, but I have tons of questions more for James, so I'm gonna see if we can get him on again next year because I really enjoyed it. I really love the nuggets that he shared with us. Is there anything else that you would like to share right now, James, before you hop off?
No, I appreciate it. Appreciate all the followers here. I mean, I think this is an awesome podcast. I think, I think one of the cool things overall about what you're doing here is, like, I think, like, so I was tracking, like, Solopreneur Ship, like 2010, 11, 12. We were realizing that, like, there was going to be this influx in solopreneurs. So, like, we realized, like, things like we didn't know it was going to be called, like, Shopify, Amazon FBA, ClickFunnels. We didn't know all that was going to come out, but we knew that, like, capabilities were going to be there, and the companies were going to take advantage of it, and that was going to enable. I mean, dude, look at, we're using, StreamYard. Like, this stuff wasn't around. Like, Zoom and all this stuff wasn't even around 5 years ago. So it's like, but we knew that this technology was gonna enable people to, like, the average person to basically have the reach and have a lot of capabilities that like a Fortune 500 would have. So think about it. You can just stream, and if your stuff's good, you can reach 500, 1,000 people an episode. And like, think about like how many times in your lifetime would you have been able to speak to 1,000 people? Maybe never, like, honestly, like maybe never before this kind of technology. And a lot of times people don't realize that's what they're doing. Like, you're reaching 200, 500, 1,000, 1,500, whatever people, or more if you're running ads to it or whatever. And like, and so I think like in this upswing of technology and like solopreneurs, there's also been this, like, some of the leading like themes have been slightly like greed focused, like get rich quick. It's kind of like the gold rush. It's funny. I actually had a guy speak at my event at my house one time, and he got up there and said, man, this is like the gold rush of the internet. Like, you need to be building funnels and doing all this. And then at the end of it, I got up and I said, hey, I love this guy. That's why I had him here. But I just want to make sure everybody knows the gold rush of California was not real. In fact, all those people went broke. And they're like, what do you mean? I was like, the people, everybody knows, it's like the people who made money were the people who were selling like picks and backpacks and shovels, So I was like, whenever you see like a worn out path, like everyone's gone down, do not go down that path in terms of business. Like that is a clear indication that there's, like, you want to, and I'm not saying carve your own path either, but there's a wise saying from Warren Buffett about, I can't remember exactly, but it's something like a rich man never walked down the worn path that everyone else went down. Like, but the reason I'm tying this into your show is I think that we're in an era now where like this solopreneurism has been hot for like 5, 6, probably like 4 or 5 years now. And so we're also in an era where like people are starting to realize, I don't really want to be this like get rich quick person. It's not really me. I don't really give a crap about it. Like, yeah, I want to make some money, but like, but I think the purpose and cause driven stuff is going to take off. And I think that there's a massive upswing of people like, this is what I wanted to use the technology for. This is what I wanted to, so it's funny. Like, I was talking to, me and Steve were talking about like, what's the futures look like and all this stuff. And I was saying how like ideally I want to become most known for causes and things that I support or things that I start, which for me may happen in my 40s or 50s. But I have established a decent name in business, but like I would prefer, in my deepest dream, is to be more known for doing things that help society, humanity, whatever, versus like the dude who made money. You know what I mean? Like, so anyway, I had somebody tell me that one time. They're like, yeah, it's not that impressive anymore to like see somebody who makes money. Like, it's like a lure, like a fishing lure. Like, it's like it lures people in, but at the end of the day, like, you bite that lure, you get hooks in your mouth. Like, and so, yeah, I think what you're doing here, man, is awesome. And that's why when I saw you doing this, I was like, yeah, dude, I'll jump on and support it 100%. So
awesome, man. I really appreciate that. Thanks for that. If you got another minute when we close off, I would like to have, I got a few quick questions for you after we're done. Everybody else, thank you so much for being on. Mike, Alexander, thank you for just a quick shout outs. I really appreciate you all. Everybody that's watching the recording of this right now, the link to getting to watch James's website is in the comment section, so you could just click it. And it's also in the description for anybody else who's watching this or listening to the podcast. All right. Have an amazing day, everybody. And we'll see everybody very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Guys.